We are in Bayswater, where all these poplars have to come down for a development that's occurring, and one of them has a hive in it. The oak trees there, they are staying, but the poplars unfortunately have to go. The poplars have been self-seeding all over the neighbourhood. You can see heaps of mini poplars all over the place. Today we are working with Transform Tree Services. Exciting times. There we go. Let's go have a look. Okay, so there's wire and steel in this tree, so instead of cutting where we wanted to, he had to cut higher, which unfortunately cut right through the middle of the hive. But you know, it's better to do something safely than not. So there's one half of the hive, and there's more wire in that part of the thing. Is the other half. So thankfully most of the brood's in the bottom section, and it's mostly honey and pollen up here. One piece of brood here which may or may not be salvageable, but on the whole, given the set of circumstances, best case scenario. So now I'll focus on this bit because this is where there's less bees. Most of the bees are returning to the other section, which tells me queen's over there. They are very angry for obvious reasons, but let's get started and see what we discover. I've cleaned up a little just so there's no trip hazards, and I've done a couple of exploratory pieces out. The hive comes up heaps higher than where I'm at the moment, so it was a big hive, but this section's all black and abandoned and whatnot. There's no bees in it at all, there's no resources in it at all, so I can pretty much forget about that section and just work my way down, because the tree's getting chopped and lopped and all that sort of thing, and it's just going to go through the chipper. It's not going to matter biosecurity wise if I leave it there until they finish off the job tomorrow. So we'll focus on the living part of the hive, but it's a strong hive, a heap of honey in the hive, and then we'll focus on over there, but we'll clean up this section first. Okay, so here we have the honey section of the hive exposed. The honey sort of starts to run out about here, so as I said, unnecessary to take out the dead part. They're the pieces that have been separated to expose the honey section. From here I'll clean up the honey, just that's the messy part, and get that done before I start handling the brood and whatnot. So once this is all cleaned up, most of the bees that are floating around here will fly back to the main part of the hive. So yay, let's get this done. So I got the brood out of that section, but decided to leave the honey and just get cracking on the brood in this main section. Fun thing is, one, the tree's wrapped around with metal, which makes chainsawing very delicate and slow. Two, the hive goes down really deep, which is making life even harder. Yeah, so I've got to delicately cut pieces out, avoiding the metal, and hope for the best. Okay, slowly getting to it. The hive is very deep, very deep. However, more and more bees are leaving the hive and coming here. This gives me strong suspicions that I'm going to find the queen in a crevice or something on this piece of timber. Just too many bees are coming here and saying, let's stay here and let's fan here. So I'm ignoring her for the moment. I want to clear out the trunk and then I'll see what I can find in here. Could be wrong, but it's just a bit suspicious. Okay, I've got all the brood out. There is only honey and pollen left in here. And as you can see, it goes quite a long way down. Okay. The bees in here aren't acting like they've got a queen. So I don't believe she's in here unless they're trying to trick me. There's a small group forming on here, but they are starting to look lost. We've got more and more bees gathering on here. And we have 8 frames of brood in here. Okay, so next step is to see if the queen's in here and on there. If she is, yippee, job's gotten heaps easier. If she's not, job's gotten a lot harder. But based on what I'm seeing, I strongly suspect she's here. But it is one that I'm going to have to leave here for longer than I'd liked. I wanted to leave it here overnight, or until tonight. But given how much honey and how messy this is, that's not going to be possible. So I'll have to talk to the developer and see what we can come up with. Okay, I've scooped the bees off the outside of that, but I suspect she's deep inside one of the crevices, so I broke it, the other half open gently, but wasn't able to do so here. So I'm now going to get the smoker and see if we can smoke her out of wherever she's hiding, because the bees are pretty much left almost everything else behind, and a huge majority of them are now here, and when I scoop them off they go back here, so strong feelings queen is here. So let's get the smoker out and see what we can achieve. Okay, we have the smoker going and we're now going to smoke bees. The foragers will take wing, the nurse bees will stay here, and hopefully Queenie will expose herself. So let's see how we go here. Okay, I quickly toss the smoker on the ground, which I'll now pick up before I start a fire. Okay, because I did smoke, as you saw, and I saw Queenie running across the ground towards the hive. And even though I want her in the hive box, I need her in a queen clip so they don't abscond. So now I have, I can't focus, there we go. I now have Queen in the queen clip. I'll put her in the box, and then I'm going to have to walk away for a bit and let them sort themselves out. So, okay, so drop her down in there. Okay, so she's now in the box. Whew. I'll put an extra box on top, just give them a bit more space. I'll put this over in that vicinity there, and then they're going to need some time to just reorientate and whatnot, because it got messy. But at least now we've got the queen, we've got the brood. Whew. Once they've sorted themselves out, I can clean up. Okie dokies. So they're slowly going in the box. I'm going to move that log up against the new hive box, and the ones that are smelling the queen pheromone in there will go, oh no, okay, there's a stronger queen pheromone in here, and they'll start to head towards the box. Normally I would leave the box up against the old hive, at the entrance of the old hive, because then all these nurse bees and that are running around in the box confused, in the old hive, will run into the box. But because the hive's so big and there's so much honey and it's an absolute mess, I've got to do a naughty and let the bees clean up a bit, because there's going to be residual honey no matter what I do in this instance, and it's better that this hive gets the bulk of it. But if I put the new box up against the tree, the bees will just consider it an extension of their hive and keep working both, and we don't want them to do that at all. So yay. I'm going to come back on Friday afternoon. There will still be some that are disorientated and haven't found the box, and I'll use the bee vac to collect them, and then after dark I'll take it all away. Didn't really want to come back, but sometimes you've got to do what's better for the bees. Well, all the time you've got to do what's better for the bees, because otherwise the hive doesn't survive. Okay, we're back here at this big tree, and bees are coming and going from the hive as expected, and the bees have cleared out of the tree. There is robbing going on, but we'll sort that out once we clean up. But all going well. They'll all be in the box tonight. Yay. Yes, much better outcome than expected. I was expecting to see still quite a few bees in the tree that I'd have to beevac, but it looks like I won't have many to beevac after all. So now we can just wait till nightfall. Okie dokie, so given it a rough clean. The cone that still bears full of pollen. Most of the honey's gone, which reduces the likelihood of robbing. I did leave 2 buckets of honey here when I left the other day, thinking that no one would come over to the hives. One bucket was for the arborist, and the other bucket was contaminated with chainsaw bar oil and things like that, because of when I do cuts in the tree, the bar oil obviously splashes out and contaminates the honey, and that just gets rendered. Someone's come along and taken it, so I hope they don't get too sick from eating honey that's contaminated with chainsaw bar oil. Anyway, I'm now just going to wait for nightfall, at which point a huge majority of the bees will be in the hive, and I can close her up and take her away. Okay, the hive's now taken away. Pick up a spray bottle of water. There's almost no bees left running around. And mostly cleaned up. Arborists can now come in and finish everything off.